What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to another video. All glory goes to God. And today we're doing a reaction video. However, it's going to be a slightly different reaction video. I saw this video and it piqued my interest. So I'm very curious to see what kind of fighter archetype that I am. And let me know in the comments below whether you already know if you're your fighter archetype or you learned something new today. So without further ado, let's just jump right into today's video.
I'm sure you've noticed how certain fighting styles and personalities seem to manifest themselves regularly, as if there are certain things that are universal about the fight game. Fighters from every corner of the world, from completely different socio-economic and martial arts backgrounds, step into their roles as if they were born for them. In this video, I'm going to introduce a concept
That is very true. Even like said, you know, like all these, if you look past all these different generations of fighters, right? Like every, I guess you could say, fight style. Like I feel like there's always a dude that fits a certain mold and fight style throughout every like generation of fighter. You know what I'm saying? And that goes across like all combat sports, whether it's like boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing. It's very fascinating. Very fascinating. That's a good point.
Calling the archetypes of fighting. I'll also explain the 8 fighter archetypes and talk about some of the notable fighters from each category.
I did not know that there was 8 fighter types. I did not know there was that many.
It's possible for fighters to embody multiple archetypes.
Sure.
I'll expand on that in the next video. But for now, I tried to pick one archetype for each fighter that I felt best.
That's a great clip of Conor McGregor back when he was being a little mad lad. I think he got arrested for that, if I'm not mistaken, where he threw like that pallet jack thing at a bus full of UFC fighters, and a whole bunch of fighters got like injured because the glass went in their eyes. Oh, Conor.
It's illustrated the concepts being introduced. I don't want to spend too long on the introduction, but it's important to quickly explain what an archetype is and what it means specifically in the context of fighting. If you already understand the concept of archetypes, I'll be putting timestamps below the video so you can jump straight.
Lordzilla! I love Lordzilla. I love his fight style. I love that evasive, just like high, you know, footwork, crazy reaction times. Like Lordzilla, he's like probably one of my most favorite Muay Thai fighters because he just like goes into the matrix, and I love that fight style, and I take a lot of inspiration from it.
10. Let's get into it.
What is an archetype?
Archetypes presented in this video
are
based on the work of Carl Jung. Jung described archetypes as images or themes that derive from the collective unconscious and have universal meanings across cultures.
Okay, fair enough. So themes, images, okay. Yeah.
He likened archetypes to instinctual patterns of behavior, meaning that intrinsically, we already understand what archetypes are without needing formal definitions. And these archetypes continually express themselves in our stories, art, and dreams. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato also described these concepts with what he called the idea, which he defined as a primordial disposition that preforms and influences thoughts. So in the context of fighting,
you know, what's also very curious and fascinating to me is like what, because obviously I would say if you know, an archetype kind of goes alongside someone's like personality, which it kind of mentions already in the intro, but like just the overall like what drives or what kind of makes a fighter go into a specific archetype. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that like even at my gym, you know what I'm saying, like my fight gym, there's every fighter or every, you know, the rest of my team, they have their own fighting style. You know what I'm saying? It's very fascinating. And I wonder what makes someone just kind of unconsciously choose that type of fighting style.
Archetype is the manifestation of all the conscious and unconscious forces that guide a fighter. These forces include their training, their personality and temperament, their purpose, their values, and literally any other subconscious motivation you can think of. So in a sense, we can think of a fighter's archetypes like their fighting style, but deeper. Because it encompasses not only how a person fights, but why. That's what makes fighting so compelling. When we watch a fight, it's
I
not
agree.
just two athletes playing an arbitrary game. We're watching two storylines converge and collide, and the archetypes expressing themselves within those stories reflect the archetypes we encounter in our own stories. And with that, allow me to introduce the 8 fighter archetypes, along with some of the fighters who personify them.
Okay.
The first archetype is the trickster. The trickster openly questions and mocks the rules.
A perfect example, Senchai. Perfect. I love it.
Conventions that others take for granted. Defined by their duality.
Imagine being
There we go.
Others take for granted. Defined by their duality, the trickster is both light and dark.
See, I feel like a trickster, like Senchai, like, because he's a perfect example, you know, but I feel like he kind of went into his archetype, I can't even talk, just because that's just years, like, he's like almost like, he's in his 40s now, and I think that kind of, because he just knows the rules so well, because he's been doing it for so long, and has been fighting for so long, like, it's just, you know, you kind of almost have to kind of play with it, you know what I'm saying? Have fun with it, because he's just that guy.
Charming and lovable as they are villainous and deceitful, often friendly with opponents one moment and contemptuous and spiteful the next. The same nonchalant recklessness
Michael Venom Page
allows for their brilliance can also be their downfall.
True.
Examples of fighters who personify the trickster
Senchai.
archetype are Senchai, perhaps the most notorious Muay Thai fighter of all time.
True.
Lurdzilla, aptly nicknamed the eel on a skateboard.
The eel on a skateboard. Yeah, the eel of Muay Thai, Lurdzilla. I love Lurdzilla. He's one of my favorite Muay Thai fighters and kickboxers. Again, I draw tons of personal inspiration from Lurdzilla and his fight style. I love just his evasiveness. Love it.
Or in mixed martial arts,
Michael
we have
Venom
examples
Page.
like Dominic Cruz,
True.
Sean O'Malley,
Okay.
Bobby Green, and Michael Venom Page. My friend Jesse Stern is another trickster-style fighter in MMA.
Oh, nice,
and then
sweet.
in boxing, we have fighters like Pernell Whitaker, the Drunken Master, Emmanuel Augustus,
Okay.
Tyson Fury, and
Really?
Prince Nas.
See, I don't follow boxing that much. I could see Prince. I've seen some clips of Prince, but I kind of disagree that Tyson Fury is kind of a trickster, but I haven't watched a lot of his fights, so I may be wrong.
Naseem Hamed. The trickster fights with an air of superiority, casting aside the fundamentals in favor of crowd-pleasing theatrics. There can sometimes be a sense that they care more about spectacle than they do about winning. They want you to underestimate them. They want you to have an emotional reaction to their antics. But it's a smokescreen. Behind the pageantry is a cold, calculating precision. The trickster's arsenal is filled with, well, tricks, both physical and mental, both benign and malicious.
Lurdzilla.
The next
Ooh-wee.
archetype is the brawler.
Okay, the brawler. Everybody knows, if you're a Muay Thai fan, Rod Tang. Immediately off the rip, you already know. I could never be a brawler archetype because I just think that promotes so much brain damage. That's just me.
Brawler is characterized by their willingness to take damage in order to close the distance and inflict damage of their own. A person who enjoys combat just for the sake of combat is going to find themselves drawn to the brawler archetype. Rod Tang is an obvious example that comes to mind when thinking of high-level brawlers. Raymond Deckers, with his relentless attacking style,
Raymond, another W. Dutch
MMA
kickboxer.
Brawlers include Justin Gaethje, who famously went leg kick for leg kick with Edson Barbosa after telling him they would find out who had the harder shins. Michael Chandler and Eddie Alvarez, who had 2 historic battles in Bellator that they ended up splitting one apiece. Marvin Vettori, the Diaz brothers,
Okay, yeah,
Chris
definitely the
Eben,
Diaz, right? Okay,
and the list goes on.
Okay,
Boxers
true.
who embody this archetype include Roberto Hands of Stone Duran and the legendary Joe Frazier. Brawlers are often known for their durability, walking through your best shots demoralizing you and draining your endurance until you break from exhaustion or from capitulation to the pain they've delivered.
Oh
There's
no.
a subset of brawlers who know they just need to touch you once to end your night, so they're willing to take as many shots as they need to get there. While this archetype is easy to think of as being less skillful than some of the others on this list, there is a nuance to this style of fighting possessed by elite brawlers such as Roberto Duran that make it extremely effective. In fighting,
that's very true. I mean, one of my friends, he's a classic brawler archetype, and man, he's willing to just take damage and just consistently be in your face, and it's very easy for, you know, because he has a very good cardio. It is extremely easy for you to get overwhelmed with just that constant in-your-face pressure, always willing to take shots. I do have respect for brawlers. Absolutely, I do.
When mastered, is just as much a science and art as any other fighting style.
I agree with that.
Moving on to the technician.
Taiwan Chai
are driven to break down, analyze, and solve problems in a methodical and practical way. They tend to be precise, efficient, and systematic. The technician's primary goal is to win, and they excel at it, but their meticulously structured approach to fighting can often be seen as too boring or safe for casual fans.
That's true.
Notable technicians include Giorgio the Doctor Petrosian, Israel Adesanya, both kickboxing and MMA, Alexander Volkanovski, George St. Pierre, Kamaru Usman, and Islam Makhachev, as well as Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather in boxing. Technicians will study the strengths and weaknesses of both their opponents and themselves to plan their approach accordingly. A true technician will also make it a point.
That's very smart. That is very smart. I like that. I like that. Because, you know, especially as you watch yourself, right? You know, a lot of people, I feel like they don't want to watch themselves train because, you know, they're like, oh man, there's this and this and this that I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, that'll make you so much more of a better fighter in the long run as you could, like, objectively look at that. Like, okay, this is where my holes are at. You know what I'm saying? I do like that a lot. That's very good. That's very good. And I'm not going to lie, that kind of seems like kind of self-explanatory or almost like common sense, but I'm definitely not doing that. And I'm going to have to start. I'm going to have to start recording myself more.
To understand the techniques, tendencies, and strategies being employed by all competitors within their chosen field of combat. In other words, the technician seeks to master the metagame within their field. This calculated approach to fighting makes the technician a formidable opponent, but if they start to feel like they've completely solved the puzzle, they're liable to stagnate or get caught off guard, as the fight game is constantly evolving.
Very true. Very true. And, like, that's the thing with combat sports, right? Like, you could be utterly dominating a fight. Utterly dominating. And then there's that one jab, that one head kick, or whatever, right? And the entire dynamic is flipped. This is why I love combat sports so much. Because, like, at any moment's notice, something could change and the dynamic could flip or whatever, right? And on top of that, just being extremely entertaining to watch anyway. Like, I feel like, especially with team sports, like, let's just say, like, American football, for example, if a team is, I don't know, let's just say, like, 20 points ahead. I don't know how American football works. I don't watch it. But, like, let's just say it's, like, 20, 30, 40 points ahead. You basically kind of know, oh, okay, well, they're going to win this game because they're 30 whatever points ahead, right? Unless the other team somehow magically able to catch up, but, you know, I feel like that's pretty rare, especially when there's that much of a lead. But in combat sports, it's just, that's just not the case. You know what I'm saying? Everything could be going right, and then the second, it could be going wrong. And vice versa. Everything could be going right for you, or wrong for you, and that one split-second decision, whatever, can turn a tide in your favor. And on top of that, again, with all these, you know, fighter archetypes, it's just like, every fight is its own, just, you know, like chess match, and I just love it. I love combat sports so much. Nothing tops it, in my opinion.
Next up, we have the artist.
Okay, the
Artists
artist.
are creative, unconventional, and single-minded. Where the technician seeks to understand and master current conventions, the artist looks past them, focusing solely on perfecting their art and sharing it with the world. It's the artist's creativity and vision
nice up elbow.
that breaks through established paradigms and makes us question the things we thought we understood. In the context of fighting, the artist often represents a martial art which the masses have deemed ineffective in a quote-unquote real fight. Examples include Lyoto Machida and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, with their karate styles once considered useless in MMA, or Yair Rodriguez with his flashy Taekwondo style, or the artist may represent stereotype breakers like Danny Bill, the Cameroonian Muay Thai fighter, whose artful and elegant technique is more beautiful than
that was super sick. It was a sweep as he slipped. That was so fire.
Or the artist may represent stereotype breakers like Danny Bill, the Cameroonian Muay Thai fighter, whose artful and elegant technique
that was so cool.
was more beautiful than that of even the Thais themselves. Or Vasily Lomachenko, the brilliant boxer whose father put him in dance class.
I gotta look up this Cameroonian guy, because that's facts. He was piecing up those ties. And they're ties. See, this is why I love combat sports. It's just, the form of self-expression. Love it.
Classes as a child, and who now dances circles around his opponents. If you feel the artist archetype calling to you, you must ignore the critics and naysayers. Trust in yourself and believe in your vision.
Fair enough.
The next archetype on the list is the bully. Antagonistic and relentless. The bully seems to take pleasure in inflicting mental and physical pain on others. There is a callous cruelty to their fighting style, and most bullies are completely devoid of empathy toward their opposition. The bully will apply pressure until they expose your weaknesses, and then they'll exploit those weaknesses mercilessly. There's a constant psychological element to the bully that's just as ruthless as the physical element. In the case of Nong O, as you can see on the screen right now, he doesn't even need to speak the same language as you to attack you verbally. His body language speaks volumes. Other examples include John Jones,
the GOAT,
Petr Yan, Colby Covington, Chael Sonnen, Conor McGregor, and Mike Tyson. The bully will cheat and use every underhanded tactic at their disposal to throw you off your game. And a skillful bully is perhaps the most terrifying archetype on this list. It's easy to root against the bully, but there's a part of our shadow side that embraces them as well. We all have a little bit of the bully within us, whether we admit it or not. But the real bullies, the ones who truly manifest this archetype, add a layer of emotion and intrigue that is essential to the story. Without the villain, there is no hero. And the bully who completes their redemption arc can become one of the most loved characters in the end. Standing opposite the warrior is the warrior. Embodying toughness and courage, warriors are renowned for setting and achieving goals, overcoming obstacles, and persevering through struggle. The warrior represents the blue-collar everyman, and what they may lack in technical polish and refinement, they more than make up for in grit and determination. The heart of the warrior is second to none, but they do have a tendency to view situations in black and white terms. Examples of the warrior archetype include John Wayne Parr, Daniel Cormier, Robert Whittaker, Dustin Poirier, Frankie Edgar, and Stipe Miocic.
And I think all these so far, all the names and their archetypes in this video have it actually extremely accurate. This is a good video so far.
When warriors battle their way to the top of the boxing world, they become legends. Examples include Julio Cesar Chavez and Rocky Marciano. The warrior can sometimes have a strained relationship with fighting, but the call they feel to represent their people and provide for their families keeps them coming back to the arena. When the warrior meets the bully head-to-head in combat, like when Dustin Poirier took on Conor McGregor, or when Daniel Cormier clashed with John Jones, it makes for one of the most compelling storylines in all of fighting. The seventh archetype
the
is
Crusader.
the Crusader. The Crusader, similar to the warrior, is brave, resilient, and purpose-driven. However, the Crusader's purpose is derived from the calling of a higher power. This calling is usually either born from religious roots or from their struggle to overcome political oppression, or both. Fighting is the Crusaders' pulpit to spread their gospel, and the more successful they are, the larger the audience they can captivate. Khabib Nurmagomedov is an example of a Crusader.
Yep.
Khabib stood in front of a jeering, hostile crowd of Irish and American fans and defiantly exclaimed, "Alhamdulillah, God give me everything. I know you guys don't like this. Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night I'm gonna smash your boy." And then he did.
That's
Other
true.
Crusaders include Yoel, the Soldier of God Romero, Benson Henderson, and Benil Dariush, who proudly proclaimed his solidarity with the oppressed people of Iran and then told the predominantly Muslim crowd in Dubai that they would find true freedom in Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And
Amen.
last but certainly not least, the most legendary crusader of all time, Muhammad Ali. He was born Cassius Clay, but denounced it as his slave name and adopted the moniker he's most famously known for. Ali walked away from his prime for 3 years to protest the Vietnam War. His purpose and principles were unquestionable. The Crusader often starts their career with a different primary archetype, but becomes a Crusader when they begin to feel the calling of a higher power. This calling gives the Crusader an extra worldly toughness. It doesn't matter whether or not you believe or agree with the messages they're spreading. They believe, and that gives them power.
That does. That does. If you truly believe, that is incredibly powerful. That's facts.
Fighter archetype on this list is the monk. The monk's primary focus is the development of their individual character. In this way, fighting becomes a spiritual endeavor, and the monk uses training, preparation, and combat as tools for personal growth. While the monk can often excel in competition, the accolades that come with the sport aspect of fighting will always be secondary to the development of their spirit. Like the Crusader, the monk often starts their career as a different archetype, but becomes a monk via a spiritual awakening.
Okay.
Examples of the monk include
Bruce Lee,
Alex Caceres, aka Bruce Leroy, Yuri Prohaska, Hickson Gracie, Evan Tanner, Diego Sanchez, who has always been considered a bit of a meme, but was actually a force to be reckoned with in his prime, and perhaps the biggest what if in MMA history, Zabit. I personally have a soft spot for the monk archetype, as it's the one I most closely associated with when I was actively fighting. I quit my job at age 24 and bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, only to eventually realize that the true path of the monk is the journey inward. If you've made it this far, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you are an aspiring fighter yourself, you must understand the archetypes you embody if you want to express yourself to your full potential. Socrates told us, know thyself. Fighters can also begin their careers as one archetype and evolve into new archetypes as the circumstances of their lives change.
Sure.
Carl Jung warns that resisting the expression of an archetype may result in neurosis. So know yourself and allow yourself to grow into the forms of expression that feel right. One of the most common questions for new fighters is, how should I find my fighting style?
You'll find it.
Once you begin to understand archetypal forces on a deeper level, you'll understand that in reality, your fighting style chooses you. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments which archetypes you relate with, and name some other fighters you think I should have included in this video.
That was a very cool video. I like that a lot. I would say that just basically, or based off of what I kind of do currently, I really like the technician trickster archetype. Not that I really like kind of, as far as a trickster, I don't really like to kind of gloat or whatever, but I just do like the fluidity of the trickster archetype, you know what I'm saying, where you just kind of like to play around a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But also the technician. I think, and I know another, I don't think Taiwan Chai was mentioned in this video, but Taiwan Chai, another fighter that I take massive inspiration from. I would say the two, you know, fighters right now that I take the most is probably Lurdzilla and Taiwan Chai. And I just love their fighting styles. You know, I like the IQ side of it. I love developing my fight IQ and just learning and growing every day. And I also just kind of like to, you know, the playful side of it as well. Well, that was an awesome video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what you think or what you know your fighter type to be. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out. God bless.